Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be unboxing a new piece of my temporary darkroom. If you've been following this channel at all, you know that I have a pretty sweet enlarger in my darkroom, which is the DeVere 5108, which is a big 8x10 capable enlarger. However, I don't have access to that darkroom since we are moving and still in the process of dealing with the estate of my mother-in-law. So during that time, I don't have a space, so I'm trying to use a makeshift darkroom in one of the bathrooms here. Now that presents some problems. Obviously I can't get an 8x10 enlarger in the bathroom. So I need something a little bit temporary to make contact prints of large format negatives and then enlargements of 35mm and medium format. Now there are a lot of used enlargers out there. However, they still tend to be a little bit big. I have my Durst M301, which is a nice little enlarger, but it only does 35mm, black and white, and it's condenser, and none of my negatives are developed for condenser. So, what to do about it? I have purchased the medium format / 35mm enlarger parts from Intrepid. I've wanted to try that out for a while. I've never really had a reason to get anything like that. But now that we're in a temporary darkroom, I thought I'd go ahead and try it. So it is a color enlarger, an LED system. I don't know yet if it's RGB or CMY. We're going to find out. So I thought we'd go ahead and unbox it, see what's in here, and talk about it a little bit. And then next time, we're going to test it out in the temporary darkroom that I have. So this is the box that it came in, not a very big box. It took about 6 weeks for delivery. I would say 5.5 weeks for them to make it. And then I got a notification that it was shipped out from the UK on Monday and it arrived yesterday on a Thursday. So very fast delivery once it was out, but a few weeks to be made. Now this is not the 4x5 adapter for their 4x5 cameras. This is a separate deal for medium format and 35mm. Okay, got a pack and slip. Got a little postcard. What we got here? Okay, shipping box out, and now we have this. Got a tear tab. Okay, so in it we have a quick start guide. We'll dive into that in a few minutes. Looks like we have some negative carriers. And are they aluminum? No, I think these might be a phenolic plastic. No, they might be aluminum. They're heavy enough, but I see a texture that makes me think it might be phenolic. And then it's got like a gaffer's tape for a hinge. But what we have is 5 of them. So a 35mm, 645, 66, 67, which is interest to me, and 6x9. So good full range of negative sizes. Okay, here is the actual head itself. Does this come off? No, it does not. I'm trying to see if, there we go. Okay, so we have 2 units here. Looks like this is the head unit. So this is the LED up here. I've got bubble levels on the sides, nice. The bellows are compressed down. How do we open this up? That's focus. Okay, a couple of lock knobs. And there you go. And then a screw focus. It is an Acme thread, so it's a little faster than a standard like screw thread. So that looks good. Okay, I can tell right away we've got some 3D printed parts here, which I'm not surprised, it's Intrepid. So it looks like the LED head is 3D printed. The bracket here is aluminum. The top plate is, top plate might be aluminum. Again, it's got that weird striation on the side that makes me think it's actually like a phenolic sheet. And it's got that same hatchwork pattern. Okay. The bottom plate here is 3D printed. The focus knob, 3D printed. The lens plate, 3D printed. Looks like that's a 39mm thread embedded in there, so you wouldn't swap lenses with the lens board. It looks like we're going to actually take the 50mm lens off, attach the 100mm lens, and go from there. And then of course the bellows. This bracket is also aluminum. However, this portion that the threads go through is also 3D printed. So a mix of aluminum 3D print parts, much like their cameras. And then this attaches to a copy stand or enlarger with a 1/4-20 mount hole. It's in the aluminum, that's great. So it's not threading into the printed parts. However, I would say if anyone from Intrepid watches this and is taking suggestions, I would say make that a 3/8 hole. I want to see if we can get this to fit on my Durst M301 and replace that. It uses a 3/8 screw mount instead of a 1/4. So I'm going to have to use a 3/8 to 1/4 reducing adapter. And then that just puts an extra part in there. It's easy to get one of those little screw in 3/8 to 1/4 reducer that goes into the hole, the female adapter, but a male adapter is much harder to use. So Intrepid, consider changing that to a 3/8. People who want to use a 1/4 can reduce that down. All right, and then we have the control deck here. This might have a red safe light. It looks like there's might be a red safe light section right here. Is a 3D printed body, 3D printed knobs, and then a aluminum top plate for the control. Got some dust on there. And it looks like it's cyan, magenta, and yellow. So subtractive system rather than additive. That's good. Let's see how these negative carriers go in. There's a slot on the side of the head. I'm assuming you just slide this in. Doesn't matter left or right. Okay. Let's try the other side. Left-handed anyway. Oh, goes in easier from the left. Oh, great for us left-handies. All right, well, that's good. I'm not going to try all of these. I just want to see how well it centers up. Over the lens. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. I'll be happy with that. Okay. What else do we have in here? Got a box labeled open here. And that's it for there. All right, and in here, power. Okay. So this will plug into the control box on the side. And then I assume we find our plug of country. Nope. Yep. And being in the US, I'm going to use this one. Easy enough. Okay, next thing we need to try is attaching it to our Durst. Okay. All right, so we've got this thing. Let's get this out of the way. And now what we're going to use is a little brass reducer, so we'll put that on. We might need a washer because that is not all the way. All right, took a while for me to find a 3/8 washer, but I found one, so let's put that on. Does that tighten up? Yeah, good, okay. So let's put this on. Oh, that's good. Okay, looks like we're going to need a 1/4-inch washer too, because this thread is too long. When it goes in, it will push up against the part that the focus screw goes through and deform it. So we're going to need to take up some space there as well. Take 3. Okay, we're back. And I found a lock washer, so we'll use that to help keep it from loosening, but it's also just a thicker washer, take up more space, perfect. Okay, now we'll attach. There we go. Are we roughly level? It has the bubble levels. And okay, we're there. So here we are. We've got it on. It's not a very big enlarger to begin with, so medium format, we'll find out. Fortunately, I can raise this up fairly high. So with a 6x7 negative, I think we'll be able to get to about an 8x10. We're going to try that out in a second. Let's get our lens on there. So this is my 50mm Schneider. Yeah, so this is great. Again, Intrepid, if you're taking feedback, because we have no means of rotating the lens once it's on there and it's fully attached, my aperture little window to see what aperture I'm on is facing this, not me. So I have no idea what aperture I'm using unless I get in there. And again, this is not the tightest. Yeah, this is going to take some work to get this level the way that I need it to be. I mean, I don't think that's their problem, getting that, to be firm and tight, because I am trying to use adapters on this. But again, if it were a 3/8 adapter right off the bat, then I wouldn't have to use 2 washers and an adapter to get this on this thing. I realize they're trying to make it for people who are using tripods, but there are better solutions than tripods, especially if you need to set this up and leave it up. You don't want to use a tripod for that. But we're here, we're on. And I've got my focus, that's good. I've got the rise and fall, which, ooh, hey, apparently I unfocused all the way. That's great. Didn't know I could do that. But you can, folks. You can. Oh, that's just gravity. Okay. Be careful with that. All right, well, that's good to know. Anyway, what I was saying is my aperture is back here, not up front. Normally with an enlarger, you would just turn the whole lens board around. In this case, I don't have that option. I think with the design that they're using, then a simple round Durst negative carrier, or a lens board rather, would be a perfect solution. It's round, it would be easy to 3D print. In fact, I think I'm going to print one that takes this lens. And then of course, once it's on, I can turn it until the lens is facing the right way. As this is, I can't. Because once it's all the way up, it is completely facing the wrong way, and there is nothing I can do about it other than unscrewing the lens. And I don't like that option. So it wouldn't take that much to design to do so. Not at all. It just has to be enough of a recess for this to have some kind of tab and little lock, either a slide, screw, something. And I think that would work 1,000 times better. But as it is, here we are. Okay, let's find some power. Do I have a power block? I don't. I gotta find somewhere to get an outlet. And we're gonna turn this thing on. We're gonna see what happens. Okay, found an extension cord. Let's get this plugged in and see what we got here. So I know that there are some mixed reviews with this device. Some people said it works great. Some have said that they had nothing but trouble. And I took that, I gotta find somewhere so this doesn't just pull it to the floor. And I understand that. I know this is taking a risk on something. But I thought we'd go ahead and try. Okay, safe flight. You can see that. We'll do a safe flight test and try it out. Not today on the video, but I'll do one at some point. Okay, focus. Okay, we're on. Great. I've got oh, okay, so this is just held on by magnets. It's good to know. I don't know. Oh, that's because you can use this for scanning. Forgot about that. Okay, well actually that's good. Let's lower this. Oh, let's remove that completely. Let's remove that completely. I forgot that they advertise this for scanning too. Okay, that would explain the this part being able to come off so easily. All right, so we've got a light. And it is probably a white light. Looking at my light that I've got up here, they are both kind of white. I don't think this is a warm white, which means it's got a little bit of blue in it and might have a different starting point for our 2 filtration. Simply because that is, our photo paper is going to be a little blue sensitive in the high contrast. Okay, I'm in focus mode. Let's turn that off. What does this do? I guess I could read the instructions real quick. What do these knobs do? Contrast adjustment dial, black and white mode only. Oh, okay. So contrast adjustment. At a 00. Oh, that's at a 00? I don't expect that to be very yellow. All right, be aware, you cannot change the filtration, or at least see the results of that while it's in focus mode. Okay, so that's a 00. Let's put this at a 2. I didn't realize this had filter control. That doesn't look any different. Go to 5. Okay, that looks the same. Oh, of course I'm in focus mode. Hold on, let's try. Let's set it for 2 seconds. Let's put it down to 00. Ah, there we are. Okay, so very green. Okay, so it's going to use a split grade kind of deal. Okay, so green at 00. What's a 2? Cyan-ish. And then a 5. Very blue. Okay, let's get this so you can see it. Okay, so this is the 5. Very blue. Two, kind of a cyan, and then all the way down to 00, green. So we're going to shift from green to blue, cyan being kind of the 2 filter. All right, that's good to know. Let's see, does safe light turn off when we run? No, stays on the whole time. Okay. Let's try, let's see if we can cancel it. Let's take our time up a little longer. Let's do run, cancel. Okay. Put that back to 2 seconds. Color, scan. What's the scan mode? Okay, so on scan, you can do custom yellow, magenta, cyan, blue, green, red, 7000K, 65, 5, 4, 3, or just max light. Okay, interesting. I don't necessarily need a scanning light, but it's nice to know that this unit will do it. Okay, let's try. All right, you can change different settings. We might work on that in the future, but let's try color mode. All right, so right now it says magenta 26, cyan 88. Shouldn't cyan be 0? All right, so it looks like our default is cyan 88, magenta 26, Y32. I don't think I like that. How high does this go? Up to 124 magenta and only 112 yellow. Okay, we got red. What if I turn the cyan up? Cyan goes up to 245 and still red. Okay, let's turn the cyan down. Okay, what is, let's do 100 magenta. Oops. Actually, let's do all magenta. No yellow, no cyan. Okay, so we get that. Let's change yellow all the way up, magenta and cyan all the way down. Yellow, okay. Turn that all the way down, cyan all the way up. Okay. All right, so we get a max magenta, we get a max yellow. So let's see. What I don't like is that color mode. Let's see, you can start with the following values, 100, 100, 100. That would be equal amounts of each. So it is not going to function the same way as a traditional color head in terms of filtration. I feel like software-wise, that's a big miss from Intrepid. Now, of course, we're going to have to use it in real time and see. But what that means is if I'm using my color balance cards, the recommended color filtration correction is not going to match what this uses. So when it says I need to increase the yellow by 10, that's not what this is. If I do 10 points here, it's going to be way different. And that's definitely something that's going to be a little weird, especially since none of these three dials go to the same max amount or even the same minimum. And I really feel like that is purely software. They could have this all the way to 000. When it's turned all the way to the left, it should read 0 across the board. I'm not using any, it's all out. In which case it should be just a neutral 3400 white, right? Because that's what an enlarger head would be. No filtration, just the tungsten bulb. And then as we dial up, what would it take to make this display max magenta, max yellow at the same amount as a regular enlarger, which is, so what is that, 180, 130, depending on whether you go by the Kodak method or the Durst method. So I really feel like they should have done a little bit more research on that. You can have the same values coming out of this, but at least make the scale work for the way the color printers work, so that we are not having to learn their particular. It also makes me wonder if I got two of these, are they going to be the same? Are these values arbitrary? Are they on some kind of scale that they're not informing me on? I don't know. They're just recommending use a color analyzer. So that's not super helpful. Let's see. Anything else here? You can save some settings, great. But I feel like that's a miss. They do that with the Ilford black and white scale. We go from 00 to 0, half, 1, 1.5, all the way up to 5. And that's our max green to max blue. So they can calibrate it, right? We see that with the black and white. They can calibrate. So they need to calibrate the color. So Intrepid, if you're watching, please go in, do the software, find a way to send us a firmware update so that we can have our color filtration work the way that color filtration works on every analog color enlarger out there. It's great that you're using the CMY method and not the RGB. I like that very much. I don't like that the values do not match up with an actual color head. I have no starting point. I have no frame of reference when I want to tweak the color. I don't even know how much on here will equate. So please take that feedback and fix it. The other thing that we're going to request that you fix, 3/8 mount hole instead of a 1/4. And let's figure out a lens board so that I don't have my aperture scales facing the focus screw and I can actually have it out here. That's a big miss right there. Okay, that's it for the unboxing and quick snap review. We're going to try this out in the darkroom next time, although all right, real quick before we wrap up, let's put that back up there. I want to see how this projects. So let's put that back into black and white mode. Let's focus. All right, that's our 2.8. Let's see. I can't really see anything since I've got my big video light on. Okay, I've got a 35 millimeter lens in there. Well, a 50 millimeter lens for 35 millimeter. That's right, we're left-handed. Let's put that in. Okay, I can vaguely see my borders here. We're sharp, and we're probably about a 6:9 image. That's up. Oh, yeah. Guess we're not going to get higher than that with that in the way. Okay, that's roughly an 8:10. So I can get higher. Of course, that's going to give me 11:14. What we need to find out though is where does a medium format lens go? So let me grab my medium format lens and we'll see how high we can get with an image. So let me go find that real quick. Turn the light out here, put the lens on so we can see the glow on the base a little bit better. Let's extend this down. You may be thinking, why are we doing this? Because I want to see how big of an image we can get. Okay, so from here, of course, that's a 35 millimeter holder. Let's put my 6x7, which is the most likely candidate for me. All right, and that is a small image, a little bit bigger than 4 by 5 inches. So let's raise this up. We're gonna have to lift this up for a second. Let's get this all the way up. Okay, this is about an 8x10 image, and then we've got this method. Okay, and then at its max height, this is a little bit smaller than an 11x14, judging by what I see here, but it's fairly close. It would print well on 11x14 paper with a border. We're somewhere in like the maybe 10x12 inch area. And this is a 100 millimeter lens, so an 80 millimeter would be a little bit bigger image. And I'm not running into the base like I was afraid. So not too bad. Much better than I thought it would be. Okay, so let's take this down and wrap up. So all in all, it seems like it's going to be a decent enlarger. For black and white, no issue whatsoever. It's going to focus in kind of a daylight color, doesn't matter. It is going to print in green to blue. I'm fine with that. A little bit split grade system, no issue. When we get into the darkroom and test it, we'll see if we have equal brightness or if we've got some kind of exposure difference issue. It looks like it's fairly bright for both, so it's really going to be more of the paper response to the blue versus the green. That's no issue. We already know Ilford, which is what I use most of the time, is double the time when you go up to that high. I'm not that concerned about it. I am actually surprised that the software goes in chunks. For black and white filtration, like it goes 00, 0, half, like the filters. There's no spot in between, like 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. I can see with the potentiometer that they've used, you would probably have that ability to do so, but they didn't provide that. That would also be helpful for people who want to get really, really fine increments. And then we already went over the issues with the color. I think it's going to print fine. I think it's just a missed opportunity for getting the scale to match standard enlargers. If you can do it with black and white, you should be able to do it with color. Other than that, like I said, for scanning, it's not really something that interests me, but I've got the ability to do it, and we may do it in the future. For now, we're just going to try this in the darkroom. And I brought some of my negatives with me, 6x7 and 35mm, black and white in color. So we're going to work on that this week and try to bring a video to you next weekend or the one after that shows the results. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you spending some time with me while we open this up and see what's in it and go through some of the basic features. And we'll put it to the test and see what we can come up with. So thanks again. We'll see you next time.